If you're having a little bit of trouble with question 3A, or any of the questions in number 3, I'm going to take you through the first example to give you a bit of help. All right, so what we want is, it says solve the system of equations using x and y intercepts. So to solve the system of equations means if you graph the first equation and you graph the second equation, where are they going to cross? All right, that's what solving the system equation means, right? What is the solution? What is the point that they both have in common? Where do they cross? And in order to be able to do that, you need to be able to graph each of them. So we're going to graph the first one with the x and y intercepts. So if you every line crosses the x and the y axes in some spot. If you have those 2 points and you join them, then you can create your lines. That's what we're going to find here. In order to find the x-intercept, all right, so the point that's going to be along the x-axis, the y-coordinate of that is always going to be 0. Right, because there's no height to any of the points that are on the x-axis. It will be 0. So I'm going to force that y to be 0. So in your equation, replace the y with 0 and solve for x. Okay, so that leaves me with x equals 5. That means the x-intercept, okay, or the point on the x-axis is going to be 5, 0. Right, because we said y was going to be 0. And then same for the y-intercept. So all the points along the y-axis are going to have an x-coordinate of 0. So I'm replacing my x with 0 in the equation. So we have 0 minus y equals 5, which means negative 5, or negative y equals 5. And then if you divide both sides by negative 1, you'll end up with y equals negative 5. Okay, so that coordinate, whoops. That coordinate is going to be, oops. All right, my marker's messing up. There we go. Y equals negative 5. That coordinate is going to be 0, comma, negative 5. Okay, so now we have 2 points and we can put those on our graph. So the first one is 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the other one is 0, negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so you've got 2 points. So you can just join those now and create a nice straight line and then extend it on both sides. Okay, we'll go ahead and graph the other one in the same way. Okay, so we're going to put 0 in for y. So when we do that, we're left with 2x minus 4 equals 0. Bring the 4 to the other side, so it becomes positive. So we have 2x equals positive 4, and then divide both sides by 2 to isolate for the x. So x equals 4 divided by 2, which is 2. So that's going to give us the point 2, comma 0. And we'll do the same thing for the other equation, now changing the x to 0. So that's going to be 2 times 0, so that's gone. And you're left with y minus 4 equals 0. Bring the 4 to the other side, change the sign, and you end up with y equals 4. So that point will be 0, comma 4. Okay, so I'm going to plot those 2 points now. So 2, 0 is here, and 0, 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4 up here. And I'm going to grab my line. Where'd it go? Whoops, oh, that didn't work. Oh, I have to select it first. There we go. Okay, and you can already see that they're going to cross right here. Okay, they're going to cross at that point, and that's going to be your solution, which is 1, 2, 3, comma, negative 2. Okay, so that's just another way of finding the solution to 2 lines. The other method is to take the 2 equations and rearrange them in the form y equals mx plus b. right? And then using the y-intercept and the slope to graph that line. But you need to be familiar with both methods, all right? Using x and y intercepts, and then also using y equals mx plus b form. Okay, good luck. The other question I was asked about was number 6. And for that question, I'm just going to start you off on it. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'll give you a hint. You're given an equation and you're being told that there's a point, q negative 3 comma 2, passes through that line. And the question is, what is the value of k? All right, so notice you've got 3 different variables in here, and you are given a point, negative 3, 2, and every point is an x and a y. It's a coordinate with an x and a y. So use your negative 3 for x and your 2 for your y in the equation. Right? So if you just replace the x with negative 3 plus k we don't know, and y we're being told is 2 minus 3 equals 0. Now you've only got one unknown, so use algebra to solve for k. And I'll also give you a tip for number 7. So number 7 says there are 5 points on the line, x plus 2y minus 8 equals 0, that have negative coordinates. 2 of those points are 0, 4 and 4, 2. Determine the other 3 points. So for this, I would graph it. All right, so maybe change this into the y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so you want to leave the 2y on the left-hand side and bring the x to the right and bring the negative 8 to the right. So that will give you 2y equals negative x plus 8. Divide both sides by 2, so every single term by 2, so that you have y equals negative x over 2 plus 8. Okay, another way of writing negative x over 2 is negative 1x over 2. Okay, so your slope here is going to be a negative 1/2. And your y-intercept is going to be 8. So get some graph paper, okay, or just make a sketch in your book and graph this as neat as you can. Start with the y-intercept of 8, and then from that point, I'll make a little sketch. So y-intercept of 8, right? And then from there, you're going to go down 1 over to the right 2. So down 1 over to the right 2. Down 1 over to the right 2, something like that. You need graph paper to get a more accurate sketch. And then you need to find the other point. So extend your line from both directions. They are telling you that they have negative coordinates. Okay, 2 of those points are going to be 0, 4, and 4, 2. So take that into. I should have said non-negative coordinates, right? Those are positive. So you're looking for the other positive coordinates, okay, that are going to be in this quadrant here. Okay, good luck.